mind right now is I pissed my wife off, right? And may I say that's not a good idea, right? It was an accident. It was an accident, ladies and gentlemen. She mentioned to me that, look, we're all very stressed right now, right? You've got to understand, this is like, I may seem calm, cool, collected to you, but this is stress like you wouldn't believe. Firstly, it's like living in the Blitz, right? They're talking about, oh, there's more attacks, terror cells coming, and I live in the occupied territories, what you would call occupied territories, right? I'm like, so there's that going on. And just the attacks in general going on, the soldiers being killed, each one is like, because it could be my kid. Why? I literally have a kid. My other son, who's higher up the chain of command than him, is also in the he's getting ready for the real war. He's up north somewhere. And my younger kid's in Gaza. We call it Gaza, right? And we haven't spoken to him for weeks, right? We speak to him every day. He got a message, right? He got a message out to his girlfriend. This like really sweet message. He had a friend send it, like he was going out and say how much he misses her. He thinks about it all the time. He loves her so much. It's really cute. It's so cute. He's a good boy. So apparently he was on the beach at one point in Gaza. Those beaches look nice. It just looked like, come on, we've got to make this work. I mean, like, really. I mean, like, we could all. You could all be rich. I mean, like, again, to a Jew, that's like, why do you want to kill me more than be rich, right? And it's the stupidest thing. You could all be rich, you dumb cunts, right? You could all be rich. I mean, like, now I've seen what Gaza looks like. It's freaking gorgeous. I mean, might need some home assembly at this point, in areas. Anyway, so my wife mentions that there are 2 rabbis in my son's tank, right? And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, right? If you're in a traditional heterosexual marriage, and you're the bloke, and your wife says to you something, you should always listen to the music, never the lyrics, right? Try and hear what she's really saying. So she was like happy about it, right? Me, I like, for me nowadays, it's a detriment being a rabbi, right? The other day in synagogue, somebody says, well, why do you do that? You're a rabbi, aren't you? And he said to me, and I said, don't sully me with that filthy term, sir. So for me, it's a detriment. Reason it's a detriment is because the ex-rabbi of the shul, like, very publicly, repeatedly, often, very much violated the Jewish law. And it wasn't like throwaway Jewish law. It was like he was talking shit about, he was defaming, right? It was defaming by, it was basically cry bullying, if I would give it a term, right? I mean, that's essentially what it is. He was defaming by either he believed he was in danger, or he was pretending it, but he made up stories to justify his point of view. One of those stories were about me, right? Anyway, so I expected and then shortly thereafter, he then broke all these laws in public speeches. Like, I think he wasn't well, in my opinion. I have no idea. I'm not a doctor, but he broke all these like central Jewish laws, right? And like massively. Like, it was like, if he was sitting there eating bacon, it would have been less obvious, right? And then the weird thing, right? The weird thing after that is my whole community was like, no, that didn't happen. I'm like, but we all saw. And when you go through the details, people are like, oh yeah, that happened. And it's like, it's weird, right? Anyway, one of the reasons they can't conceive of it happening, even though they all saw it happening, and they will acknowledge they saw it happening, right? That's the crazy thing. When you go to the actual, did this happen? Did this happen? Oh yeah, that will happen. Well, anyway. This ex-rabbi was very I wouldn't say supportive, but none of the other rabbis in town called out this gross violation of Torah law, this massive violation, which, in my opinion, listen, I heard a couple of people talking about the Gaza situation from a theological perspective the other day in synagogue, right? I normally finish doing my studying after morning services, right? I'm there 20 minutes. And there's a couple of guys have a little learning session about different. I don't know. I'm not sure what they're doing, but they're schmoozing. He's schmoozing in synagogue, right? It's the schmoozing place. It's a good place to schmooze. They were talking about the situation, and their understanding of it was entirely inverted, right? My instinct was to go and tear the head off person and scream it into his neck, but I didn't do that. I kept my mouth shut. I really was. I was they were talking about how why Hamas had the success they had on October the 7th, right? Like on the theological point of view, what? It's and it's they were saying, oh, because they pray 5 times a day and they do it fervently, which I don't know if it's true. I bet they pray 5 times. They do it fervently, probably. I have no idea. The truth there, but that's not the case, right? That's an entirely inverted way of viewing the situation from a theological point of view, in my mind. The only reason that God gives success, we call it hatzlacha, right? Success and blessings, bracha, right, to people like Hamas, to do the unspeakable violence they did. It's that's literally what it is. You can't talk about it because it's like the Holocaust. See, oh, that's the doddle, mate. Holocaust, laugh at that. That's nothing. And it really was crazy, right? So the only reason God allows that to happen, from my understanding, from a mainstream Jewish theological perspective, and I believe this is correct, right? It's to express that we live in exile, right? We call it galut. We the Jewish people live in an exile, right? It started with the destruction of the second Jewish temple in Jerusalem, and it's going to end, prophesied to end, with the return of people to Israel, and then the rebuilding of the Jewish temple, right? Which is where I think this war is going to end up. It's because the only trouble with that is it's where the Dome of the Rock is. So it's a bit tense, right? I don't know how it's going to get there, but I don't know how it's going to get here. It's crazy, right? And that's my crazy Bible thumping worldview, right? I may be wrong. It may take a period of 15 years. I don't know anything, right? Anyway, my point being is this. I've been screaming at people, and I gave up, right? But I've been trying to not scream. I'm doing whatever I can to try and instill the understanding. For 2.5 years, I've been doing this ever since this rabbi went rogue, and he did, and violated the absolute essence of Jewish, we call it Torah, of Judaism, which is brought division rather than unity, and specifically and you've got to be in a Jewish legal perspective to talk to Jews because lawyers, right? Every Jewish stereotype, pretty much right. Okay, well, not the really bad ones, but listen, I know. I watch Ben Shapiro and go, I understand why people hate Jews. It's oh God, that's annoying, right? So I feel you, my brother. Anyway, I digress. It's to when Hamas gets success, or when people Nazis get success, those people get success, it's for God to demonstrate that he's punishing us by being in exile, right? And so then you got to look at the reasons that you're in exile. We've been in exile all this time. First was the first X. This was the second X. Second, was it second or third? Oh yeah, whatever. The last one, right? The last one. It's a whole theological thing. If there's one before that, it doesn't really matter. Okay, it's a side conversation. Anyway, the one before this was because of idolatry. So essentially, what the deal with idolatry was, it would work, right? Your crops would fail, and then you would be able to sacrifice to an idol, and your crops would come back, right? Now, the trouble with that is God wanted you to know something by your crops failing, right? And you're circumventing the point of life by circumventing God's will by changing it. Essentially, that's the same is true of theft, right? God has you have what you have to make you be the perfect you, and you're saying, no, I need this as well, right? And that's what I would say is one second. I'm just going to reply. Okay, now I've finished typing. Now I got to go on emojis. Oh, tell ya. Okay, 1 second. No, I'm on the wrong thing. Fine. Got a bunch of them. Go for hearts. Smiley face with hearts. Kisses. More hearts. Okay. There you go. That was to my good lady wife. So anyway, yeah, I forgot the point of the story. So anyway, I digress. This exile is for talking shit. Exactly the thing. It's called Sina China, right? But exactly the thing this ex-rabbi did that massively on the most like apocalyptic nuclear level, right? Because he did it on the day before we go on a 25-hour fast. People sleep on the floor because of that, right? Literally because of that. And then he goes off and does this whole public address, like violating these laws. I mean, like, man, well, I didn't know you could do so many wrong things in one time. It was crazy. So for the last couple of years, and then they everybody pretended it didn't happen. So then for about 2 years, I've been trying to tell people that there's no differentiation between talking shit about each other, right? Between defamation, right? Talking negatively, and anti-Semitic violence, right? It's like when you pull a trigger, a bullet comes out of a gun. Right? When you talk shit, when you break these laws, the one happens, the other happens. And I've been saying, look, there's going to be, I actually said something. Aren't you scared? Because I couldn't understand. It was so public, right? I could, and everybody said, oh, Tzvi, you just want an apology. I'm like, leave me alone. I wanted Jewish law to matter, right? we call it the Torah to matter. Right? And nobody listened and nobody heard it, right? And I kept saying some terrible punishment of anti-Semitic violence that will make take our breath away is coming. I actually said that. Yeah, you only realize in hindsight, right? Why did I say that, right? Why did I say it? Look, let's say you're getting on the Titanic. I use this mashal with this parable a lot. Let's say you're getting on the Titanic and you hear the captain say, God himself cannot sink this ship, right? If you're a God-fearing man, you get off that boat. I'll get the next bunk, mate. You can have my bunk, right? It's okay. I'll wait, right? That's what you do. Do you know, what was it, April 14th, that it's going to impossibly hit an iceberg, rupturing at high speed. That's exactly the right size of dimension. Rupturing it upon what? 8 of the 4 of the 5 of the watertight canopy things, right? It's nuts that it happened. It's crazy that it happened, right? And it happened. Do you know that's going to happen? No. Do you think some shit's gonna go down? Yes. So anyway, when there's like nuclear detonation of treif, that's what you say, something that's not kosher. It was right. It's like everyone goes, I don't see anything, nothing there. I'm like, there's something bad coming at the other side of this. I didn't think it would be this. I'm not saying what happened in my little community has a one-to-one thing on October 7th. I am saying that. I mean, firstly, what happened here is going to happen in 1,000 places, right? And with the same result, I believe would happen. Holy crap, right? Going to happen in 1,000 places. Or we may be a representative sample of a large pool. I don't know, right? I don't know. I don't know how it works. All I said was some shit's going to go down. Aren't you scared? I just said that to someone. Aren't you scared? Now they're scared. Anyway, so my point being is, when my wife said there's 2 rabbis in that, I couldn't give a shit. Like that, for me, that's a detriment because all the rabbis, they close ranks. It was like, you see, there's a great parable, right? I love this one, which I'm actually watching in real time. Which is bizarre because I think this is the end of days, right? Glad to catch you at the end, mate. Anyway, there's a parable at the end of days. Everybody will see their evil inclination, and if you're a righteous person, you'll see it as a mountain of ice that you have held back, or mountain of diamonds. Say, we'll do a bit of Capaldi. Heaven said, not as good as this. Oh my God, I watched it again. Yeah, no. I'm sorry. The hitting a wall of diamond for 3 billion years. No, it's too much. Got to wind that in, Moffat. You got to wind that in, baby. Anyway, what Heaven said. It's like a wall of diamond. Oh yeah, they hold back mountain of diamond. How do you do that? And the evil, they will see their evil inclination as their hair, right? The Rishonim will see, and I'm like absolutely seeing it. This like complete disregard for absolute central Jewish law, right? Which I think is like it's absolutely really. I mean, like, to me, it's more important than kashrut. If you're going to blow off one, you should blow off kosher stuff because, bacon is awesome. Oh, and cheap. Oh, stop. Oh, God, it's so cheap compared to Jewish food. Oh. And it's so much better. Listen, if you are not Jewish, you should get on your knees and say, and thank God. If you're an atheist or not, get on your knees and say, thank God. Thank God I'm not a Bible thumper like the rabbi. Good bacon is good. And shrimp's not that bad either. Anyway. Give up that one. Anyway, the point is this, right? The point is this: the reason they can't, I can't understand it, right? The only idea I've come up with is the reason they can't acknowledge or talk about this seismic violation of Jewish law, which led to October the 7th. You do you, baby. I'm not saying directly, although I don't know not. Right, might have some negative consequence. So what can I tell you? Being a rabbi, having said that, there are different types of rabbi. You have like rabbis in like teaching rabbis. Like, man, the rabbi who ran my son's rabbinical school, which he found, is brilliant. There's a lot of brilliant rabbis. I don't want to denigrate, but for me, I have to tell you. Like the whole institution is just completely void of any respect whatsoever, right? There's no way you come back. You can't be super duper corrupt and then say, "Oh no, we're not." Yes, I've seen it. Like that happened. I believe we're living in the response to that. I think, if you look at October 7th and go, oh, yeah, God's fine. He's not fucked off about anything. No. That's what I think, maybe. That's just what I think. Anyway, speaking of what Jews think, check this out. Now, Michael Rappaport always been a bit of an embarrassment to me, I have to tell you, right? I mean, listen, I do like his honesty. Man, he hates Trump, right? He hates Trump like anything. I like him in True Romance. I like him in anything I see him in, really. He doesn't seem to be much of an actor. He just plays Michael Rappaport, right? And I like Michael Rappaport, right? I didn't even know he was Jewish. Apparently, he said it in War of Home, like every episode. So he was like this virulent anti-Trumper. And this is how much the Israel thing, I think, has shaken the world apart, right? Look at this. And I think this is why the Israel thing is happening.
City, climb in public in front of crowds of people, rip down UN flags, rip down Israeli flags, rip down American flags on Veterans Day.
This is basically every character I've ever seen him play, right? And I'm happy to see it, right? I am happy to see it. Don't get me wrong. I love True Romance. And his commentary on the disc is hilarious. Yeah, it's pretty much what I did. My life. And anyway, he, like every liberal Jew, is finding out you're still a Jew, baby. I didn't mean to be a righteous chuckle. I actually feel for him, but it's destroying his world. As I feel many liberal Jews are going through this now. And where it takes you is saying you would not believe.
When the economy is the way the economy is, when I'm paying fucking mortgage rates up, I mean, I'm getting, forget a colonoscopy. You don't need to get a colonoscopy. Go buy a house.
I feel your pain, mate, but like this is the thing. The Israel thing has removed the blinders from everything. And I find this fascinating, right? I find it absolutely fascinating.
The interest rates, go buy a car. And I know Smoking Joe has done some things for I know. But I'm telling you right now, go buy yourself, go check what it's like to buy a car. Buy a house. The money. The fucking chaos in this country. The chaos around the world. If it comes down to pig.
I mean, okay, he's absolutely, like, finally he's woken up, right? And look at it. It's like, what the fuck? I actually saw all of this, and I did not, and I finally woken up, right? Man, I think this is coming to everyone, right? Which I think is a fundamental different worldview that most people have, right? Which changes everything, but I think this is coming to everyone sooner or later, sooner rather than later.
If it comes down to pig dick Donald Trump, and Smoking Joe Biden, I'm sorry. I am sorry. Voting for pig dick Donald Trump is on the table. I'm sorry.
That's how bad things are. Man. This has been seismic, right? Is it bigger or smaller than the Davros Gate? I don't know. Davros Gate we're getting to after the chat. Yeah, I am looking forward to talking about it. But tell me more, Michael.
I'll still call him slob dick Donald Trump, pig dick Donald Trump. And
we don't care. You vote for him, you can call him whatever you want, mate. It's your right.
All that. But we need to get this whole fucking situation under control.
Yo, Michael, mate. Michael, you are not wrong, right? You are not wrong. Is there anything to get to we really should look at? I got my copy of The Underwater Menace. I am looking forward to watching that. Hopefully I'll have that by tomorrow. There's a couple of fun things. One thing here. We'll do a bit of Douglas Murray, then we'll get to the chat. Everybody loves a bit of Douglas Murray. Britain's greatest Englishman. How long is this? If it's too
To
long.
unearthed an operational command centre with weapons, combat gear and technological equipment at the Al-Shifa hospital. That's the biggest hospital in Gaza. This after IDF troops entered the...
I like this whole thing about no, that's a Hamas base. It literally has Hamas base written on it. It's like that. No one has ever questioned that before. Tell you any bullshit, right? Any freaking bullshit. Oh, here we go. It's Douglas Murray. It really is crazy. Yeah. What? No. I mean, yes, but no.
Good morning to you, Douglas.
Good morning. Good to be with
Thank
you and
you
your
very
viewers,
much
Julia.
for joining us. Well, we had hoped to speak to you on the show yesterday, and you got the call along with just a very few journalists who were invited to join Israeli Defense Forces to travel into Gaza, to use some of the routes that those Hamas terrorists used on October the 7th to get in, to slaughter innocent civilians and then take hostages back out. You got pretty close to the place that's being talked about the most right now, the Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza.
My wife got offered to go on this thing. I think she doesn't want to. I really think she should. Where you go to like you do a tour of the attack places, right? The yeshuvim, the kibbutzim, whatever, and then you go and do you make a barbecue for the soldiers there. I'm like, that sounds awesome. And keep in mind, your son's there, so and it's not a big place. So hopefully you'll get some barbecue.
Just tell us a little bit, give us some ideas and picture of what that experience was like.
Well, of course, it's very interesting and quite remarkable to be getting the opportunity to go back through the fence the way.
Get to the point there, Dougie.
Fronts in this war, the bit of Gaza we were going into yesterday that we stayed in is one of the main centres of the fighting, and you can see that everywhere. The minute you get past the fence, you can see.
Okay, minute I get past the fence, I shit myself. I just want to be clear, right? I am on shitting myself duty right at that point. I am on the turning your pants into a temporary latrine. Go right up to brown alert.
See the villages. There's one place called Zaytun where there's very considerable firefights, explosions. Obviously, house-to-house fighting has been going on since the beginning of this.
And the interesting thing is, because we haven't seen it, it doesn't feel like it's real, right? I think when we see actual footage of it, but like, because we haven't seen it, for me, it doesn't feel real. And again, given that, oh my God, my older son is like, I don't know what's going on up north. But like he's a bit stressed out. He's a bad guy to get stressed out, let me tell you.
We went about 3 kilometers further into Gaza from there. But I think you can see at the moment a tunnel that the IDF had discovered, part of the Hamas tunnel network. And this, of course, is where many people from many of the Hamas terrorists are. And the Israelis believe this vast underground tunnel network also.
I have to tell you, none of them seem easy to get into, right? You've got to go down and think, really? Blimey. I want to build an elevator.
Includes many of the hostages, the 200.
Stairs, right? Stairs. How about that?
140 people stolen from Israel on October the 7th. The IDF experts detonated the tunnel.
Say something interesting.
Very considerable.
Right now.
The Israelis are currently lowering dynamite into this tunnel. The aim is to blow up the tunnel and close it off from the rest of the network. So the Israelis are about to detonate.
Isn't there a way of, scanning it or something to find out more of the network before you blow up? I'm sure they know what they're doing, right?
The tunnel we just saw. If we're lucky, we're going to hear it somewhere.
Yeah, you might pick that up, yeah, mate.
The Israelis have asked the Palestinians in Gaza to move south. We can see the queue of people right behind me for the first time.
Douglas Murray, looking at that footage, what I think strikes most of us, I think, is just the absolute devastation in Gaza. It looks like something out of a Hollywood film, a sort of post-apocalyptic.
The citizens of Gaza have told them that they should, if they are not Hamas to move from the north to the south of Gaza. They are trying to make sure that the military fight, which is happening door to door, building by building, is only IDF. The IDF, the Israelis.
I'm just whizzing forward until he says something interesting.
The Israelis instructed the locals in how to do this in the most peaceful and easy manner. There were calls out in Arabic and in Hebrew, interestingly enough. The calls in Arabic.
The Hebrew ones, that's what I wanted to get to. The Hebrew one's really interesting.
Arabic to the people. And by the way, I should tell about the size of the people we're talking about. 25,000 people the day before I was there passed the way we're seeing, 50,000 people the day before. So the Gazans are following the IDF's recommendations in moving.
Yeah, I mean, that seems like a good idea, right?
And of course, to move away from the most intense fighting. Even in this area, of course, it's very dangerous. Hamas have been shooting and rocketing civilians as they retreat because Hamas wants civilians to remain in the north in order to make the house-to-house fighting as difficult as possible for the Israelis. But it's also, of course, a very dangerous exercise for the IDF because they don't know who's coming through and they have to try to make sure that the people coming through.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of happy my kids are in a tank, right? They normally try and keep them at arm's length.
Through are A, not Hamas fighters, let alone leaders, and B, are not Israeli hostages being brought further south into Gaza and therefore away from the Israelis who are trying to find them. The recommendations come out, the call goes out across the speakers all the time. You can hear.
Yeah, this is the call bit. Well, not really, but yeah.
In the background, both shelling in the north from the IDF planes, but also routine firefights, anti-tank firings by Hamas and tanks firing from the IDF, and also a lot of machine gun fire going on all the time in the background in exchanges between the IDF and Hamas. But the main thing that is broadcast out to the Palestinians in the queues is, first of all, in Arabic, you understand what's happening. Please raise your hands. You understand, you're coming through peacefully. This is going to all be done peacefully and as easily as possible. And they go through the checkpoint. Some small number of people, mainly young men, are pulled out for a secondary inspection. These, of course, are the people of the age who are most likely to be Hamas fighters. They are questioned. They're checked that they don't have guns or other munitions on them. Obviously, the Israelis, among other things, also checking for suicide bombers or anyone else in the line like that. But a second thing and a detail that's important is very occasionally a call goes out across the megaphones from the Israelis in Hebrew. And I got one of the soldiers with me to translate what this said. And this said, among other things, if you are a child and you understand what is being said, jump now. And this is because the Israelis believe that Hamas may be using.
Yeah, they're trying to find the hostages. I know. It's like, I don't know if they're still alive. I think they are. I hope they are. It's very chaotic. Like Hamas says, what, 140? Then not Hezbollah. Islamic Jihad 60, and then this is how crazy it is. And then the private citizens went out and said, "Yeah, I'm going to get me one of them as well. Let me get me a hostage," and they did. That's like 40 of them. It's weird, right? It's weird, but like don't upset the poor Hamas people. Anyway, who's more upset, Israel, Hamas, or Doctor Who fans? They are not happy. Let me tell you, Doctor Who fans are not dancing a jig, right? My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.